Hey guys, it's Valentine. Welcome back for another video, and today it's all about the PlayStation. I've even got the blue backlight on to mark the occasion. So the PS5 has been out now for 3.5 years, and whilst there's been plenty of releases in that time, I think that some games do stand out more than others. And I want to go over 10 of my favourite must-play games for the PS5. So if you're looking to get the console, you can look forward to playing these games, or maybe you're looking for some inspiration on what games to play. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the video. So kicking things off, we have God of War Ragnarok, and I honestly think this is the best franchise that you can get on PlayStation. And whilst yes, I know you can get this game on the PS4, I think on the PS5 is where this game shines. From amazing visuals, great story, and amazing gameplay, this is I think what next-gen gaming is all about. The game itself is a continuation of the story that started in the 2018 release of God of War back on the PS4, and it focuses on the journey of Kratos and Atreus and how they embark on the journey to stop the end of the world. Now, one of my favourite things about this game is that it is essentially a single-shot cinematic. So when we go from gameplay into a cutscene, there are no black screens, there are no load screens. It's essentially a movie that we are playing, and I think that makes it a must-play for any PlayStation owner. Moving on to game number 2, and it's actually a launch title for the PS5. It is a follow-up to the PS4 game SpiderMan, and it's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, I personally think that the Spider-Man game that was released on the PS4 was one of the best highlights of the entire PS4 era. But even if you never played the OG game, the story in Miles Morales still makes sense. And even though the storyline is relatively short, those 8 or 10 hours that will take you to complete it are totally worth it. And nothing beats a feeling of swinging through a wintry New York City, and in my eyes, this game is a definite must play. Moving on to game number 3, and if you're someone that likes playing RPGs, well, you cannot look past Elden Ring. Elden Ring borrows a lot of details from developers from Software other games such as Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and builds upon it with an open world and some story and world building elements from Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin. However, the story and world, they're not really the focus of Elden Ring as such. Instead, you have a game with some phenomenal gameplay mechanics, and overall, it's just really enjoyable, which in this day and age can be very hard to come by. And because of that, I do think that Elden Ring is a must-play game on the PS5. Now, moving on to game number 4, and it's a bit of a different one. Whilst Returnal on the surface looks like a standard third-person shooter, it does have a couple of cool little features that help it stand out from the crowd. In a nutshell, Returnal is a third-person, futuristic sci-fi horror game set on the planet Atropos, where you are stuck in a sort of time loop. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail and spoil the story because it's actually really interesting and quite cool to find out for yourself, but essentially, every time you die, the game resets and takes you back to the start. Now, when you couple this with the absence of the save game feature, whilst I totally get won't be to everyone's taste, it's a really cool addition because it turns the game into some weird, grotesque puzzle of sorts, and again, making this game very unique. All in all, I do think this game is a must-play if you're into more complex puzzle time games, because at the end of the day, there's nothing really out there like this on the market. If you're into racing games, then game number 5 is a definite no-brainer. After all, Gran Turismo 7 won the Game Awards Best Sports Game of 2022 and the DICE Awards Best Racing Game of 2023, with stunning next-gen visuals and really good integration with the PS5 DualSense controller. Makes Gran Turismo 7 excel in delivering a truly immersive racing experience in both single and multiplayer. Moving away from the world of racing and into the post-apocalyptic world of the United States, we have game number 6, Horizon Forbidden West. Now, this is a follow-up to 2017's Horizon Zero Dawn, and it is still a third-person open-world action role-playing game. You still play as the same protagonist, Aloy, but there are a couple of differences that elevate the gameplay, and also one key difference is that the visuals are amazing. Now, I'm not over-exaggerating, but I honestly think that Horizon Forbidden West has the best looking graphics of any PS5 game. And overall, the gameplay in all Horizon games is actually very interesting and a little bit unique as well. And I think that if you are new to the PlayStation ecosystem, then checking out the Horizon franchise is definitely one to do. Now, moving on to a more recent release, must-play game number 7 is Helldivers 2. I honestly don't think that this game needs much introduction, as this game has completely blown up over the last little while, but it's definitely for a good reason. This game is so much fun to play, especially if you're playing co-op with your friends. Now, the server issues that plagued the game at launch are on the mend, so if you're looking for an amazing third-person shooter to play, you don't need to look much further than Helldivers 2. Game number 8 is one of my personal favourite PlayStation exclusives, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. This game is great at showcasing the true power of the PS5 with some great looking visuals and great gameplay. The game is focused on the duo Ratchet and Clank trying to make sure that the reality isn't torn apart but going between dimensions to save the world. Now, whilst that may seem quite serious and intense, the outcome of that is that you get some visually breathtaking set pieces and really great gameplay. And if you have never played a Ratchet and Clank game before, it's really easy to get into, and I think it's definitely a franchise that is a no-brainer for any PlayStation owner because the gameplay is so varied and so fun. For game number 9, it's a return to Marvel, and in fact, it's a sequel to Spider-Man Miles Morales, it's Spider-Man 2. Now this time round, the map is bigger, the city actually now looks incredible with way more detail. You can now play as Spider-Man, I suppose that's what it's called, Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and the AI and enemies have been reworked and there's a lot more variety now. Overall, it feels like Insomniac took Spider-Man Miles Morales and just cranked it up to 11. Now, the good news here is that if you've missed out on playing Spider-Man Miles Morales, it doesn't matter because the story still kind of works, and it works very well as a standalone game. And because it's such a high-profile IP and such a good game, I honestly do think that Spider-Man 2 is a must-play game if you're a PS5 owner. Rounding out the 10 must-play PS5 games is a game that needs no introduction. GTA 5 has now spanned 3 gaming generations, the PS3, PS4, and it's now available as a PS5 version. Now, it's a testament to the immense quality of game that Rockstar has made, and whilst yes, there are parts of the game that do feel a decade old, overall the game is still as relevant as it was back in 2013 when it released, and in large it is due to GTA Online. However, with GTA 6 looming on the horizon, I think there is still time just for one last trip to Los Santos. So there you guys go, that's my list of the 10 must-play games on the PS5. Now leave me a comment down below if you agree. Maybe I missed a really obvious game that you think is must-play. If you got this far in this video, thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe if you are into gaming and tech videos, and I'll see you in the next one.